It's Marcus Murray, the barber with the bow tie.
And I'm Brice Davis of BriceDavisMedia.
And we back at you with Straight from the Chair. Let's define it, man, because I always want to know, I always want to be sure that the people we watch, who's watching this, understand everything. Because this is for the average guy in the barbershop, y'all, and for the little brothers who trying to get some understanding on how men move, you know what I mean? So this might not even be for you that's watching, but for the people we aiming this for, we want them to understand what we're saying. You know what I mean? So promiscuity, for the most part, a woman that likes to have sex. Is that a bad thing? Yes or no?
Is it a bad thing? Ain't nothing wrong with liking to have sex.
Okay. Let me not sugarcoat it, because I'm trying to be politically correct. Let me not sugarcoat it. So promiscuity, by definition, is a woman who has many transient sexual relationships. Okay. So that can transfer into any wild imagination any average man would have on a sexually active woman. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ultimately, is that a good or bad thing? A promiscuous woman in your eye?
I wouldn't say it's a good thing.
So if it's not good, it's bad.
So, I mean, ultimately, what's the woman's goal? You know, it's like, if you want to have a family, you want to keep a man long term, then yeah, promiscuity, having a past might catch up to bite you, especially if you find out. And I believe there's different ways that you can observe it, notice it's there, know it's there, because that's the biggest thing is, you know, they're not going to be direct about it. They ain't going to tell you that they caught 20 bodies last year.
Are you sure? Are you projecting? Are you generalizing? Because I'm playing devil's advocate, and I'm going to go somewhere with it. You know what I mean? But finish. You know what I mean? So are you just generalizing? Are you projecting? Are you being prejudiced towards a woman who like to fuck?
No, I wouldn't say I'm discriminating, or I wouldn't say that, but yeah, I'm generalizing. Of course, like when you go out, for instance, you go into a club or a bar, wherever you want to go. From my personal experience, there don't be good girls out at 1 a.m. drinking. Like, yo, they're out here for a reason. It ain't to meet nice guys and they have a trip to Disney World.
That ain't right, though. That ain't right, though. That's not right to say. Typically, that's what a woman... So that's like saying, because she walking around here with a split in her skirt and she's looking good with the high heel boots, a short cut skirt, the split, you can see a little ass, you can see a little thigh. Yeah. Boobs out. Is she coming to want to fuck somebody because she got her ass and titties out?
She looking for attention.
You think so?
I know so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe nothing's random.
Right.
Respect. I don't think anything you put on is just a random act of how I'm feeling today.
So when you dress to look for attention?
Certain types of attention. Yeah. Not the same type of attention we're talking about.
Well, I mean, I'm not talking about any particular attention.
So, for instance, right, if you have like more of a clean-cut fit, you might be trying to be like the type of attention you want towards you. You might want people to respect you or look at you in a respectable way. Versus, you know, if I were to come up in here wearing, you know, I mean, I don't want to, you know.
No, respect. But, so I'm glad you went there, because my whole point of taking you there is because I think women mostly dress for each other more so than us. We benefit from it, you know what I mean? So when she's doing her most sexiest, and in our mind it might be quote-unquote sluttiest, she trying to outshine the next chick that might be out there looking good. I think that's just what women do. So back to promiscuity, I'm going to say I love it and I hate it. It's
same, man.
You know what I mean?
But two things can be true too. You know, I still believe, like, for instance, all these women be having boyfriends that dress like that. You know, they can say, nah, I'm just doing it for me. I'm not looking for attention. But,
well, that's my point, that they're doing it for other women. They're not doing it for men. We just benefit from it.
Right. So what I believe is, you know, you can still be doing it for yourself, and you can say, like, it's for other women. But just because you have a boyfriend don't mean you might not like attention from other men. Oh. Or the idea of men fantasizing about you, even if you don't plan on acting on it.
When you have a girlfriend, you still don't want chicks checking you out?
Oh, well, that ain't the same thing.
I mean, it's the same. So, I mean, don't get it twisted because I do believe in double standards.
Okay,
but
I was just about to say that.
I'm picking your brain because it's a slippery slope. And I love it because I'll benefit from a promiscuous woman. You know what I mean? I'll benefit from a promiscuous woman. It might not even be from sex, but 9 times out of 10, that's what we're talking about. So, for that, I love a promiscuous woman. But because I'm a father of 2 young women, the idea of my daughter giving herself up to any old Tom, Dick, and Harry is not appealing to me. The idea of my daughter's living a promiscuous life is not appealing to me, and it seems reckless. So that's the double-edged sword.
Well, I would compartmentalize it in a way to where if you meet somebody that's, I don't want to say like dressing's enough just to label you, but she's a little bit, on the friendly side. That there ain't a whole lot you can do with her. Like, you're not going to introduce her to your family, your kids.
You saying because of how she's dressed?
No, that's what I said earlier. Like, I don't want to just say based on how she's dressed
right.
That's the only characteristic. But if you already know she's a little friendly, then you know better than to bring her around family members or anybody of importance, because that for one, that can be, the influence it can have. And I think it's embarrassing to an extent, depending on the circle of people that you're around. Like, let's say you're at a job, right? And there's a meeting at the job, and everybody brings their wife, and you just bring this little slut bucket. Not to be vulgar with the language. What makes her a slut
bucket? That's the reason that because she's promiscuous, or because you met her in the club that night?
Being promiscuous, like we're at a. That's not the environment.
Do you know she's promiscuous because you are seeking her for that reason, or do you know she's promiscuous because you've already slept with her and she's told you this? Like, I don't know how the family would know, or you could have brought her from another city just to post up.
It's kind of like, in a way, a lot of guys, I would say we generalize in a way, right? It's kind of like how it's unfortunate, but it's just a reality. When we don't know women's names, we refer to them as, like, a lot of times we call girls hoes and we can't name a single man that they slept with.
Right.
But by that they carry themselves, you just know that she probably isn't difficult. So that's like another word for, oh, she's easy, so we just gonna call her hoe, because
respect, but that's kind of a disservice, because me and my brother, may rest in peace, we used to listen to Stoop, and we didn't agree with the fact that he didn't love them hoes.
Yeah.
I love hoes.
I was just about to say, you beat me to it.
I love hoes. I'm just saying. I'm an equal opportunity employer. No, but I think for women who are powerful, because I try not to use the term strong, but it takes a certain level of strength, it takes a certain level of confidence, it takes a certain level of arrogance, and it takes a certain level of stand on business to be a sexy ass fucking woman. Because sometimes I'm a perv, and I'm gonna just keep it 100. We pervs, bro.
Yeah. We're gonna look at every chance.
Right. And for us to be able to deal with you on a sensible level and still lust after you, with a certain level of respect, is it comes from how you handle yourself, which goes to the strip club culture. You know what I mean? Like, I heard a stripper, I don't even know these chicks' names because I was never really invested into that life like that, but I heard a stripper from Atlanta. She said, once I realized they came to see me, you know what I mean, I could get to that money. These rappers, you know what I mean? She was like, I used to be starstruck until I realized it was me they came to see.
So that's kind of like the girls that's like popping on Instagram. To me, you might as well become an influencer if people like you that much, or and you're known in your city, and like you might as well capitalize off the attention you get rather than doing nothing with it.
What do you mean?
You were saying something about being a strip club, and old girl was saying people's coming to see her. In that case, like, I would encourage you to like become an influencer at that point. As I'm not saying like your brand has to be related to being strictly a stripper or anything, but do something with it if you're going to be that way anyway and get your money.
Well,
I'm not encouraging necessarily like strip club culture in the sense of, oh, let me make a whole brand surrounding me being a stripper, but you can at least talk about something else.
Right.
And people buy into it outside your body, because that's where there's a disconnect sometimes, you know. Another thing I wanted to talk about is friendship, you know, qualities and characteristics of a good friend, because it's a word that we tend to throw around a lot, and I truly believe from the bottom of my heart that that word has different meanings for different people. Right. It's kind of like love and marriage. It's not, we don't all envision it the same way that we use it.
Right. I don't really know what kids today. I mean, the last song I heard about friends, Drake was like, no new friends. No new friends.
Oh, man.
You know, no new friends.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Me, I like to believe I met, like, the brothers I grew up with, we raised each other. So I feel like, of course, that was the foundation of understanding what friendship was. Like, we raised each other. Yeah. Meaning, you know, we beat each other up when niggas was wrong, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, we definitely fought as kids, I mean? Especially teenagers.
We hugged and we congratulated each other when we was, you know, doing right, you know what I mean? So I think friendship is something, I think my grandmother used to say, I think we all heard this phrase, pick your friends like you pick your fruit, you know what I mean?
Okay, I ain't never heard that one.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, yeah, pick your friends. So if you know how you choose your fruit and your vegetables, you carefully consider the bruises, the ripeness.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I'm particular about my fruits too.
Right. So you're not gonna pick any fruit to ingest. So you're not gonna pick any friends to because friends eventually become your family, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I believe that.
I think a lot of us have associates, but that word sounds like something you would call a coworker that you're cool with. And so we don't tend to use it as much, but a lot of times we have a lot of associates.
I think it's different for women and men. You know what I mean? Like we bond, I think our bonds are more substantial than women's. I think women friendships are mostly trauma bondings. You know what I mean? They always relate to the bullshit. You know what I mean?
And on top of that, the way that they friend people be different. Like, we've all noticed, like, a girl can go into the bathroom and make a friend in there. Versus us, we have, like, more of a, what's the word, where we have to thoroughly...
A selection process.
Yeah, that's what I was calling it.
Vetting process.
Vetting, like, in a way, like, there's characteristics that we gotta know about you if we want to associate with you, rather than what we have in common. Because a lot of people have a lot of stuff in common, but, you know, ultimately, like, your core values and things, to me, that allow the friendship to see how close you're going to get with somebody, because,
you know, right. Back in the day, we used to call you was either the homie, you know what I mean, or you was an associate, you know, or you was an affiliate, you know. You had the homies you played basketball with, you had the homies you went to school with, you had the homies you kicked it in the neighborhood with. There was a different tier of homies until all them homies became the same clique, you know, for us anyway. I think it was easy because we all met each other where we were. Like, and we all needed whatever we supplied each other, we needed that from each other. You know what I mean? Like, I think a friendship is a fluid relationship where it's fluid and transparent, man. Like, it's a give and take without effort. You know what I mean?
I was just about to say that one thing that I started noticing as I got older is I know, like, people use the word self-preservation or, oh, he's an opportunist. But to me, within my friend circle, we all bring value to the table. Right. Like, for the most part, I don't really have somebody that's just completely useless in my life. Like, does absolutely nothing, because there's plenty of those everywhere. You can go outside and find somebody like that. But as far as, like, being cool and being part of the clique and all that, like, yeah, you got to be doing something with yourself, because, you know, I'm at a space in my life where I'm not befriending nobody that's not trying to do better for themselves or better their situation. I mean, you don't necessarily got to be like an entrepreneur or nothing like that, but you got to be trying to better yourself, self-improve in some kind of way, or else, you know, what we going to be talking about when we get on the phone. Like, who got shot or who did what. Like, that type of conversation ain't gonna do it. So,
Right.
you know, that's just me personally where, you know, if I was thinking on a friendship level.
Hey, I think, so there's a term that I'm sure you heard the term iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's a quality that has to exist within the friendship, you know, because of just the fact that we all deal with so much in our own personal lives. You got to have a friend that care enough about you to consider what you're going through, and vice versa. You got to care enough about that friend to consider what they're going through. It's like an ecosystem, you know. The grass, the trees, the roots, all that shit work together on its own without even instructions. You know what I mean? And I think friendships work like that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and another thing that people might not notice, depending on your mental health, is like dudes that are. Don't get me wrong, because depression's a real thing, but like I can't have nobody around me that's like just constantly having bad stuff happening to where they got this black cloud over them, and because we've all had a friend like that before. Every time you heard from them, something bad was going on.
I had a chick like that.
Oh yeah, and getting kicked out of the house and things like that, looking for places to stay, and always a victim. That's the biggest one. You can't be no victim around me, man.
Right.
I'm gonna hold you accountable. Like, what did you do?
Right.
That's the biggest thing. Like when they vent to you about, you know, like, oh yeah, my girl, she messed up. Tell me why she kicked me, and like, dang, she kicked your kid out? Like, what'd you do to get her to the point of, and why are you staying with her in the first? But, you know, that's a whole different conversation that we ain't gotta talk about. But,
right.
You know, people don't realize that people look at you sideways when you come with that victim mentality, you know.
So, would you base being a friend to someone off how they live their life?
You said based on how they live their life?
Right, like, it's kind of like deciding to date a chick, deciding whether not to date a chick because of who she dated before you. You know what I mean? Like, would you not befriend a dude because he got so much shit going on in his life?
Oh, absolutely. I don't care.
Right.
Like, I let that be known, like, up front. Like, that's just how I am about it. Like, and, you know, as far as women, though, I think it's okay and healthy to judge somebody based off their past to an extent, because we all grow at the same time. There's some things you just can't ignore about somebody's past, yo. Like,
recurring events. If you got a typecast where every time you're in a relationship, a car getting blown up, or the police getting called, or every time you move into somebody's house, it's always a fire getting caught in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Or all the exes are all narcissists. Because you know that's their favorite trigger word.
Right. All of them.
Yeah.
But I think narcissist is a word that describes men who act like women. Because narcissism,
I never heard that one.
I think personally, I think narcissists are only used to describe men for one.
Right. I've never in my life heard a man say that about a woman. Ever.
Right. Because narcissist attitude is a feminine attitude.
Yeah.
If you describe what narcissism is, someone who's self-centered.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Someone who's manipulative.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's someone who is always trying to take advantage of the person they're dealing with. Those are feminine traits.
Right.
No disrespect. You know what I mean? No disrespect to women, but it's in a woman's nature to be deceptive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she's playing with her emotions and she wants to win. So she's going to manipulate the situation.
And they're under physical strength, and you know they find other ways to manipulate.
It's all mental because they can't can't.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Physicality.
Right.
So they got to find other ways to, you know.
So it's my belief that the term narcissists are describing men who are heavily into themselves. You know what I mean? Like they express feminine traits, not gay men, just men who are very manipulative in a feminine manner.
Yeah.
All through the Bible, you hear about different women manipulating the situation for their sons one son to get it over the other son. You know what I mean?
That's why I said earlier about, you know, being upfront with your intentions. And, You know, it even boils back to dudes that cheat on their woman, and when they get caught, they be like, "Nah, baby, I wasn't." And it's like, me, I encourage dudes just to be honest, because you know they want to stick. That's their decision to make.
Right.
So,
Yeah. In that sense, I think it's the only way to be. You know, because for one, I believe that it's enough women out here for one man. There are women out here who don't mind sharing you, brother. You don't have to lie.
Right.
You don't have to lie. And then for the women, that goes back to the promiscuity. Most women nowadays are promiscuous, unfortunately, for men. I don't know how many black men can look forward to marrying a virgin in today's time. Black men. Now,
I don't think they exist.
Men in other cultures, you know what I mean? They got a chance. But nowadays, our culture is ruled by sexy red.
Yeah, that's in a whole nother continent.
I love you, Glow. Nah, I'm just kidding. But our women want to be men, so they trying to pull their dicks out. You know what I mean?
And they'll definitely test you.
Right.
And there's different ways they'll test you. They'll ask you, you'll go on a date, and she'll do little things just to test to see if, you know, what type of person you are. And if you react the wrong way, then she's gonna know mentally, like, oh yeah, I can run over him.
So are you putting on a facade? Are you playing the game the way you to win, or are you being a bigger person?
In my way, I think in my head, my fault. I think all women do it. I think it's involves
What is
their hypergamous nature. The test men.
Oh, definitely.
For their competency. Because biologically they're wired to, you know, have kids, so we gotta see how competent the man is. If this is the best fit for me. Right. And I don't think they consciously do it. I think it's subconscious.
Right. I could believe that it's programmed.
Yeah. More of a primitive place, you know.
Right.
And we got our ways of testing women too to see.
I don't think it's that serious with us though. We just want to know you ain't fucking nobody and you gonna raise our kids. You know what I mean? On the primitive level, we just want to know you're not.
Okay, I was about to say yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just want to know you're not promiscuous and you're gonna raise our kids.
And if you are, and we find out during the date, you know, depending on your personality, you might keep it going, and you might, you know, try to have a little fun. That depends on you. But now, are you about to say something?
No,
Okay.
Yeah, I was, but I was gonna let you finish because I don't. So spirituality and religious beliefs teach us that, you know, a virtuous woman is not giving herself to every man. Because I don't want to shit on nobody, man. You know what I mean? Because it's not a good thing to be fucking everybody, ladies. No matter how independent and confident you want, because don't no man really want that shit. Don't no man want a body count. But I don't want to piss on the women who are confident in their sexuality and enjoy and don't mind sharing their body. Like, I don't want to shit on that either because, like I said, I benefit from that shit. But I'm not gonna marry your ass either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a accountability that comes with the lane you drive in. You know what I mean?
I even want to say, even from a scientific standpoint, why it's a bad thing. I could be wrong. You know, I don't got my phone to fact check.
Right.
But isn't oxytocin like a hormone that's released during sex, mainly by women? I mean, men re-release little bits, but it's like a bonding chemical.
Right.
And once you release too much of it, your ability to pair bond with others no longer exists. So, you know, that's a reason from a scientific standpoint why it's not the best idea if you're looking to procreate and have a family to sleep with a bunch of men. Because in the long term, you might lose your ability to pair bond. And I've always had this theory, right, where why women that are highly promiscuous, why they make the worst mothers. And I think it has something to do with pair bonding. I do think that their ability to pair bond with the child may be not as strong because of how many dudes they slept with. Now, I know that's a reach, but that's just my personal theory.
My man's a scientist.
Yeah, it's just my personal theory of why the two seems to be a thing.
But that makes sense, though. I mean, an overstimulation of anything can cause a lack of production.
You know, it's kind of like dopamine. You know, like if you start doing too many activities that release dopamine, it gets harder and harder for, you know, your body to release that chemical. So I just apply the same thing to sex pretty much.
And then if you add you add the fact that that women are pretty much emotional creatures, and that they, you know, they'll allow their emotions to connect to every man that they lay with. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, cause I love them, and I connect to them myself. But it's easier for me to compartmentalize a situation from love and like, as opposed to dealing with connecting and not being able to disconnect. Yeah, you had me reading some stuff, man.
Okay.
Yeah, you were correct, and all those factors, and it is a higher risk for them to make pair bonds because of.
Yeah, because when men have sex, we don't release it to the same capacity that they do. Don't get me wrong, we do, but it's not nearly the same capacity. That's why we can have a bunch of partners and not necessarily have issues bonding.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you might still lay your life on the line for a woman you met 2 years ago versus, you know, the other way around. But
right. Which is reason why a man can have more than one woman. A woman should just have one man.
Yeah, man.
No. I'm being silly. But yeah, no, that's respectable, man. So, how do you feel about positivity? I mean, the sense of being positive 100% of the time, and how that regulates how you move just throughout life. You know what I mean? Is positivity a fantasy or is it a reality? Can you be positive 100% of the time?
100% no. It's kind of like emotions to me. Every emotion is temporary. We're not designed to be happy all the time. We're not designed to be sad all the time. It's like certain situations trigger that. And as far as people, you can kind of tell how positive and negative people are based off how they speak and, you know, talk. You know, it's like the famous saying, the cup's half full, half empty. You know, it's kind of falls on the optimism side, or if you're a pessimist, and that's just being negative all the time.
Okay, it's so, you know, I always look up definitions. Of course, we assume positivity can be an emotion.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it's more of an act or a practice.
Yeah, I mean, I associate it with happiness.
Well, that's an emotion.
Right. Even though they don't mean the same thing, but I usually associate the two.
So you relate happiness and positivity. You think you can be positive and
I think people that are more positive are more happy than people that are negative.
But which rules the other? Do you think happiness runs positivity or the other way around?
I think I think positivity runs, because you can be positive and not be happy.
That's my question.
Yeah, but as far as being happy and not be positive, that don't really sound like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, goes together as much.
Right. Well, I think, I would agree. You know, I would agree as far as happiness, but that's circumstantial. You know what I mean? And I know a couple of people who are happy and not always positive. You know what I mean? Like, I think I think to be positive, man, is just to teach to learn coping skills for real, like, because it's a practice. I heard Les Brown say he had to read 15 pages of a positive book every day. You know what I mean? That's 15 pages of positivity a day. He said, in order for me to be able to motivate people the way I do, I started off reading 15 pages. He started off reading 15 pages.
You definitely got to be around positive people.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know that you have to. So earlier, before we started taping it, I was asking you, is positivity real? Like, how did I phrase that? Do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think being positive is not being real? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think being positive is not being real. No, I don't think, because that's like saying it's unrealistic to be positive, right? Because, you know, we can be positive, like for me, it fluctuates on circumstance. Like I can be negative when I'm driving, and not that I get road rage like that, but I understand when I'm being irrational at times.
Right.
You know, that falls under being negative. But there's a movie, I've never seen it, but it's called The Pursuit of Happiness. That title always stood out to me because one thing we gotta understand is happiness is just a state. It's temporary, like not in a negative way, like a depressed. It sounds kind of depressing to say that, but I think it's realistic. Like I don't think we're designed to be happy all the time or the significance of being happy.
Well, it just depends on where you're coming from, because back in the day, you know, another cultural colloquialism, I guess, Granny used to say, you know, you could probably steal my happiness, but you can never steal my joy. You know what I mean? It comes from the sense of joy is a state of spiritual bliss. You know what I mean? Because you are grateful for everything you've had and everything you have overcome. So there's a joy of the Lord that surpasses any emotion.
Yeah.
Whether you're sad, whether you're happy, whether you are rich or poor. Like joy is that gratitude that makes the cup half full, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, so in the same sense, like positivity is one of those things where you have to want to be.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's something I strive to be more so is positive. But like, I don't wake up every day thinking, yo, I gotta be happy, or you know.
Well, not happy. I don't see. That's why I don't relate positive and happy. Yeah. I do believe I gotta be positive. I wake up every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I listen to what's it called? The things you be listening to, like your affirmations.
Oh yeah, the positive affirmation. Yeah.
Thinking your subconscious.
Right. So it's not. So happiness. I don't know if I'm always happy, but that don't mean I'm sad. You know what I mean? Like for me.
Right. No, I'm with you on that.
You know what I mean? Like, I think when I see happy, I think of Adam Sandler and Happy Gilmore. Yeah.
So
you know, I mean,
I can't think of it.
I don't walk around here floating on cloud nine, my nigga. You know what I mean?
I've heard that sadness isn't opposite to happy, but I can't really think right now what is the opposite of it. But you know, just because one is absent don't mean that the other one is dominant. Yeah.
Right.